Well, howdy. I'm glad y'all are here. We're super excited to have our morning breakout speaker, John Krajicek. I've known John for a number of years, as well as his wife, Marnie, who teaches some programming for Living Well. We partner with her on mindfulness meditation, yoga nidra, and she teaches some really cool yoga classes as well. But some of her programming is actually on, shameless plug, Living Well's YouTube channel. So if you search Living Well, Texas A&M, and YouTube, you can find some of Marnie's program. But we're here for John, and we're going to be talking about growth mindset today. We have a number of folks joining us virtually, I think over 100. So welcome to everybody joining us virtually. John is an emotional intelligence and mindfulness-based coach, as well as a retired executive professor. So that's pretty cool. In his previous role as executive professor of business communication for the MBA program of Mays Business School, and through his current consulting practice, John's very busy these days. Professor Krajicek has coached thousands of professionals on communication skills, self-awareness, mindfulness, emotional and social intelligence, and professional presence. John is also a singer-songwriter. He performs here locally, and he has a little circuit that he goes on in other states as well. And he's a performing musician. He wears a lot of hats. If you want to chat with him a little bit more about all the other things that he's done, he has some really cool stories, so he can stick around for a little bit. In his coaching, workshop facilitation, and speaking engagements, John draws on his own practice, experience, and research, as well as his formal training in emotional and social intelligence, mindfulness-based stress reduction through the University of Massachusetts Medical Center, and executive coaching, Coactive Training Institute. During his 25-year teaching career, that's pretty amazing, John, Professor Krajicek was the recipient of many teaching awards, including 2 awards from the Texas A&M Association of Former Students. He received his BA and MSA from North Texas State University and his MA from the University of North Texas. That's a lot of information. You're welcome to share anything else you want. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. John Krajicek.
You. Howdy. So any questions? Well, this could take too long. I do sleep, but I'm pretty good at managing my time. You know, I have to be. I think that actually I've had a lot of experience working with very successful business executives, and one of the things I've noticed about them, they're brutal about managing their time. I don't waste time. I don't watch much TV. When I do have downtime, it's very deliberate, it's very intentional. I actually read. How many of you read? It's a dying art, isn't it? But yeah. Anyway, any other questions before you jump in? Yes. What type of genre? What would you like? A lot. I mean, it's, you ever go to like a brewery and you see the guy over the acoustic guitar over there? That's me. So, you know, rock, blues, country, folk. And I do about half originals and half covers when I play those games. Sometimes with the band, sometimes solo. Okay, enough about me. I don't have that much time with you. It's I often teach 4-hour sessions, so 45 minutes is a stretch, right? We're gonna scratch the surface a little bit, and I consider my role today mainly to inspire you. There's not that much I can do in terms of delivering information to you that you can't get online. I don't like podiums, but we got some people online, so I occasionally want to look at them. Okay, education's changed a lot, hasn't it, since we were young? You know, it used to be when I was a kid, people sat in their rows and they were very receptive, and the teacher was the expert and filled their head with information. That's kind of an old model. I really wonder what the future of education is, but I think my role is not just to deliver information to you. My role is to show some things to you, talk to you in a way that hopefully will inspire you. And my goal today is to inspire you to cultivate a growth mindset. Make sure you understand what it is, especially as it differs from a fixed mindset. And even if you are on a journey, a growth mindset journey, to inspire you to stay on that journey. Fair enough? So let's first just, what's that? This is a clicker.
Is it also that for me? I think it's the microphone.
Oh, you think this is the microphone as well?
No, there's two.
I'm gonna use that one, so this one.
Testing.
That's off? Okay, that's off.
Oh, should I, you do want me to use this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Way to go, Sarah. So let's start by just reminding ourselves, what do we mean by mindset before we even get to growth mindset? What is mindset? What is it? And why don't you do this? Turn to the person next to you and have a 30-second discussion. What is mindset? What are we talking about? What do we mean by mindset? Okay, sorry to. Is this on? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but we don't have much time. So what is mindset? Just shout out a few things. Everything. Well, what's that? What you set your mind on, okay. My way or the highway, that's one mindset. What's that? Vision. There's another mindset.
State of focus.
Focus is another mindset. Perspective is another mindset. It's a little bit broader. That's good. I like the everything because we filter every experience we have. We filter through this brain of ours, right? Isn't it amazing that we don't do more studying of our own brains? I mean, every single experience you have in your life is filtered through this brain. There was a kind of a naive idea in Western philosophy called naive realism. That what do you talk about? I don't have a perspective. I don't have a mindset. I just experience reality like it is. No, you don't. We always interpret reality. We always have filters. And that comes from personality. It comes from when you were born, where you were born, experiences you've had, and what you've done with your brain. One of the exciting things today is the understanding that the brain is a lot more changeable than we once thought. We can retrain our brains. If it's true that we don't have as much free will as we thought we did, and by the way, that is true. The good news is we can retrain our brains. We can do brain surgery, in effect. It's a little dramatic, but we can really change our minds. Here's a kind of a textbook definition. Mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. And it's really important that we start there, that we realize every perception we have, every thought we have, every experience we have is filtered through a series of, remember we used to say, oh, he looks at the world through rose-colored glasses. Yeah, that's one mindset. But we all have glasses in effect. We all have filters through which we interpret the world. And one of the problems is, for most of us, those filters are largely unconscious. Right? We'll get into that a little bit. A little more here. It influences how you think, feel, and behave in any given situation. As people encounter different situations, their mind triggers a specific mindset that then directly impacts their behavior in that situation. So I'm in the business of helping people change. I do a lot of executive coaching, help people behave in a different way, if you will, interpret the world in a different way, in a more positive way, usually. Sometimes I actually have to help someone who is too positive. There is a downside to that. There is a shadow side to positivity. I had a prospective coaching client come to me one time and he said, Krajicek, before we get started, I just want to let you know, I'm gonna be probably late to all of our meetings. I said, really? He said, yeah, why is that? Well, that's just who I am. Fixed mindset. So I had to, of course, say, okay, first of all, BS, that's not who you are, it's a behavior. And I understand it's very difficult for you to change that behavior because you've been a late person your whole life and you have grooved some neural pathways, man, and it's really hard for you to change, but you can. And I don't know what you're coming to me to work on, but the first thing we're gonna work on is that, because you just can't be that late person. He had visions of being a CEO one day, and I said, you know, let's start with that. So, yeah, so everything we do, all of our behavior in some way or another is determined by our mindset. So it's really, really critical. Some examples of mindset, we've already started calling them out. Always the victim, that victim mindset. Arrogance, hubris, pessimistic mindset, idealistic, resentful, angry, grateful, bored, etc. Again, the problem is people tend to assume that's the way the world is. You know, some people think the world is just a cruel place. Not really. That's your mindset. Or it's all sunshine and rainbows. That's your mindset. So it's really important to understand that. By the way, I'm happy to make these slides available to you. I can give them to Sarah or whoever else, and she can give them to you. All right. So, fortunately, as William James many years ago said, the greatest discovery of intergeneration is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude. If you can change your mind, you can change your life. So again, the good news is we can alter our mindset. We can change our mindset. It's damn hard work for most people, but it's really, really important for health, for happiness, for our relationships, for our satisfaction in life. It's something that I really encourage everyone I work with. Always be working on your mindset. Always be paying attention, trying to get access to your unconscious mindset. Make sense? Any thoughts or questions so far? Yes.
I like to call it a system reboot.
A system reboot?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's one way to change your mindset. Okay. Yes, Belle. Okay, so I have a problem, and I apologize to the people online. I teach public speaking, is one of the things I teach. And I didn't come up with this saying, but a guy who won the world championship in public speaking, yeah, there is such a thing. He obviously has monetized that, and he gives advice on YouTube and whatnot. And one of the things he says for public speakers, if there's a podium in the room, pretend like it's on fire. Stay away from it. You know, you don't want to hide behind the podium. So I apologize to the folks online. I will try to stay here a little more. So, okay, we've been talking about mindset. What is growth mindset? One of the things that I've encountered, and I've done a lot of workshops on growth mindset, worked with a lot of people, there's a lot of misunderstanding about what it is. So step one, let's understand mindset and how it operates. Step two, let's talk about growth mindset. What is growth mindset? Anyone want to venture a guess or a good definition if you already know? Help us out. What's growth mindset? Yes. Okay, that's one aspect of it, absolutely. Yeah. Now there's something at the heart of that though that's important. Yes. Continuously improving, okay, hopefully, yes. Okay, I would call that more just mindset. Growth mindset, it's really important for us to understand fixed mindset so that we can understand growth mindset. I saw a hand back here. Okay, good. All right, it's a way of thinking that starts with a belief that you can always improve yourself. through effort, learning, and persistence over time. Critical. Effort, learning, and persistence. It's not just have a positive attitude. It's not everyone gets a trophy. Let's reward effort. Everyone gets an A. I prefer, when I was teaching here at the university, I preferred, and I didn't do this all the time, I didn't have time, but I preferred a grade of not yet. You either get an A or you get a not yet. You're not there yet. Let's keep working on it. But it's critical that we understand that key to this is effort, learning, and persistence. Growth mindset means we're going to keep at it. We're going to pay attention to our mind's natural protective nature. We tend to say, oh, I'm not good at that. Oh, that's not me. And sometimes it might not be, but often we're just protecting the fact that we're not very good at it yet. Right? So it's a growth mindset is all about the attitude with which a person faces challenges, how they process failures, and how they adapt and evolve as a result. So let's do a little quiz here. Fixed mindset says believes abilities are innate and fixed. What does growth mindset say?
It's gonna be changed.
Yeah, can be developed. Fixed mindset avoids challenges to protect self-image. What does a growth mindset do? Embraces challenges as growth opportunities. Fixed mindset views effort as fruitless if I just don't have the talent. What does growth mindset say? I can learn, that's right. Avoids feedback or takes it personally. Oh, that's a common one. I'm trying this again. I think it still is this, or maybe it's the laptop. Seeks feedback. I tell people to become a feedback junkie. We have to have feedback. We're all delusional to some extent. We really are. You can only know the world through your own eyes. I cannot see myself through your eyes. I can't have the experience that you have of me or me of you. You can't have that. So the only way we can get over that almost solipsistic sounding, I'm stuck in my own head, is by really seeking out feedback and being honest about it. And creating an environment. I had a coaching client years ago who had a lot of direct reports, and he told me, I'd pay a lot of money for some honest feedback from my direct reports, but they're afraid to give it to me. What do you suppose I told him? I said, that's on you. You created that environment. And you've got to create an environment in which it's not that you want to have that such an open door that people are constantly criticizing you and telling you what you're doing wrong. But if you sit someone down and you say, I need your feedback, please help me. Please give me some honest impressions that you have of me. What do you think my strengths are? What do you think my weaknesses are? What do you think? If they're afraid to give you that, sometimes people are just afraid to go out on a limb, right? I don't want to commit to something like that, but that's on you to create that environment where you open those doors and say, please, please, please give me feedback. Fixed mindset views failure as a reflection of incompetence. What would a growth mindset view? How would a growth mindset view failure? Yeah, if you've ever heard of Benjamin Zander, he is actually a conductor of a philharmonic, I think it's Cleveland Philharmonic, and a music teacher. And he teaches some of the most motivated music students in the world. He's also a really awesome kind of motivational speaker. And a great quote from him: when you make a mistake, throw your hands in the air and say, how fascinating. That's growth mindset. Fixed mindset is easily discouraged by setbacks. What does a growth mindset do with setbacks? Again, you're resilient. It's an opportunity to learn. I'm either good at it or I'm not. And let's be honest, most of us have said some version of that. I can learn anything I want to. Now, let me pause here and say, this isn't Pollyanna idealism either. I cannot say, I'm going to be an NBA star. I'm 68 years old, 5'9". But if I put my mind to it, and I persist, I can be a star in the NBA. Of course I can't. But I can improve at basketball. You know, I could get better at it if that's something I wanted to do, right? When I'm frustrated, I give up. When I'm frustrated, I persevere. I don't like to be challenged. I want to challenge myself. I love challenges. When I fail, I'm no good. When I fail, I learn. Tell me I'm smart. This is an interesting one. One of the ways that growth mindset has been used a lot lately is in parenting. There's a great book called Mindset by Carolyn Dweck, Dweck. And she talks a lot in there about parenting and how we can use growth mindset. You know that thing where we tell our kids, let's say your daughter wants to be a gymnast. Okay? Your 12-year-old daughter, maybe 10-year-old daughter wants to be a gymnast. And she just really, she's excited about this. She wants to do it. She even creates a space in her bedroom for her trophies and her medals before she's ever started. She goes to her first meet. She finishes pretty much last in everything she does. What do you as a parent say to her?
Great job. Be better next time.
Yeah, what a lot of parents say, I thought you were the best. Those judges, they just. A growth mindset would say, look, those other girls have worked a lot harder than you. If you want to do this, I'll support you, but you've got to work your butt off. You've got to persist, and you've got to accept the fact that you're going to fail sometimes. That's a growth mindset towards parenting. If you succeed, I feel threatened. If you succeed, I'm inspired. A fixed mindset tends to be very sort of closed-minded and a little self-protective. All right, one great fixed mindset example that I'm just going to wager some of you have said in your life is, I suck at public speaking. Right? Not true. You just haven't, you're not there yet. Now, does that mean you can be the world's greatest speaker? Probably not. But I've seen people change careers because they were so deadly afraid of public speaking, didn't want to develop that skill. I want to tell you something, and it's working on. This is absolutely the truth. There was a time when I was so afraid of public speaking. I can remember, and pretty late in life, into my 20s, I had not performed music, I had not lectured, done none of this. I was in a PhD program. I remember a particular moment. I was giving a talk. It was a small conference room, and I don't know about you, but I'm less nervous in an auditorium full of thousands of people than I am in a little conference room with 5 or 6 intimidating people who can see every expression on my face. I was so nervous that I picked up a marker to write on the whiteboard, and I could not even write legibly. My hand was shaking so much. I couldn't even write. And my voice was quivering. I powered through it, ran basically from the room, went across the street to a bar, and I got drunk. And I said, I quit. I'm not going to pursue this PhD. I'm not going to pursue teaching. I have a friend who has a construction company. I'm just going to pound nails for it. I won't ever have to give a presentation doing that. But of course, the next day I sobered up and I tried again, got back up on the horse, and I persisted. And eventually I got pretty good at it. So, you know, I probably always had some kind of hidden talent there that just I hadn't developed yet. And we never know until we try. But I've seen this so much in my career, teaching business executives, teaching MBAs. And it's so cool to be a part of the transformation that I've seen. Imagine someone, and I've seen this over and over, someone coming into the room. If I brought one of you up here right now and said, stand up here and introduce yourself to the group, and shaking, and it's intimidating body language, and no eye contact, and voice quivering, and then watch that person, after working with them for a few weeks or a few months, watch them walk into a room and command that room with confidence. Wow. That's cool. Because that transformation doesn't just make them a better public speaker. What else happens? More confident in general, just the way they move through the world, more self-aware, happier, not fighting it all the time. So this isn't about public speaking today, but I just want to use as an example. If that's you, if you've said, I'm just not a very good public speaker, be careful of the language that your self-talk. Our self-talk is really, really critical. Don't say, I suck at public speaking. I'm not a good public speaker. Instead, make sure that self-talk is, this is something I need to get better at. I need more work on that. I'm going to get better at that, etc. Fair enough? Okay. So how do we do it? How can we change our mindset? How can we embrace and cultivate more of a growth mindset in our life? What are some ideas that come to mind? If you were a coach coaching someone to help them cultivate a growth mindset, what might you? Positive thoughts, and I heard practice. We're practicing our mindset every day, all the time. You're practicing your mindset right now, unconsciously. So it's practice with intentionality. What else? Okay, good. Yeah. Surround yourself with people with growth mindset. Yeah, good. What's that? And give me an example. Yeah. 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 Yeah, good, good. By the way, if it's public speaking, please don't use the adage, I've heard someone use a picture everyone naked. What is that? That's gonna make me more nervous. But yeah, mantras, for example, in that situation, they want me to succeed. They're on my side. Because I know you want me to do well today. You know how I know that? Because it'll be a lot more fun for you if I suck. It sucks for you too. So hey, you're on my team, right? So those kind of mantras can help. Well, here's some things that I use to help people develop a more growth mindset. One, you really have to recognize that it's hard. This is really hard to change your mind. Because we are creatures of habit. We do have groove neural pathways, and just like a needle on a vinyl record. I still have LPs, I don't know about you, but I still use it. Just like a needle that wants to go in that groove. Our behavior, our response to things, our experience in the world, so much of it is out of habit, out of custom, out of the way our mind wants to go in that groove, because that's the way we've always been. So before we can change our behavior, change our mindset, we have to acknowledge it's really hard. It doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people get discouraged. They try to make some change. My guy who was late, he gets discouraged because, he just sets his mind to, I'm going to be on time today, and he's late again. And eventually he just says, what, screw it. I'm just going to be the late guy. Or get this, when you do make a change, you have to be patient with the people around you. Because they have defined you as that person. They have put you in a box. And it frustrates their perception of you when you change. So if my guy's late all the time, he shows up on time. What do his colleagues say? First time he shows up on time. What's wrong with you? Well, this time, it might take people a couple of months to start accepting that this is for real. That's another way people get discouraged. It's like people around me don't believe it, so I might as well be the late guy, right? So recognize it's not easy. Make self-awareness your superpower. This is all about awareness. Again, it's about bringing the unconscious to the conscious. It's about recognizing your own filters, recognizing your own biases, and that's really hard. I mean, we have biases that we know about and we're okay with. How do you feel about Longhorns? We have fun with those kind of biases. We don't really, hopefully we're not really biased against UT people, but we have fun with those kinds. But we have so many hidden unconscious biases. And the more we can get access to them, one way, by the way, is through meditation. I think it was mentioned, I teach meditation. I've been practicing meditation for over 50 years, and for about 40 of those, I was in the closet because it wasn't really cool in a situation like this to bring it up. Thank God, it's now acceptable. Thank you. So make awareness your superpower. Excellent quote here. I've got for you on self-awareness. I thought it was next, but it's not. Cultivate a reflection practice. It's not only getting the feedback from others, it's getting off this high-speed train we're all on. And I mean, we are on a high-speed train. Never in the history of Homo sapien have we been so busy, so stressed, so anxious, so distracted. And so we've got to be very intentional about building some reflection time into our routine. Get off the high-speed train and say, how am I doing? How did I do today? What could I have done better? And I've got some suggestions for you. Seek out feedback, practice with intentionality, as we said, commit and hold yourself accountable, and then celebrate improvements. That's very important. Okay, I said I had a good quote on self-awareness, and it comes from Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Work really hard. Be persistent to get access to your unconscious filters. Okay? I mentioned reflection practice. Let me just throw a few at you that you might use. Are there activities that you think may be interesting, but you've avoided them out of concern for failing or looking foolish? Are there activities that you value and you think you might be good at, but you've avoided them and avoided stretching yourself because you don't want to find out that you're not? Are there activities that feel safe but boring? Activities where you're confident and competent, but maybe you're a bit weary of them. What activities might be more fun or interesting, but might feel a bit risky? Are there changes you've tried to make but became frustrated and then gave up? Would you value those changes if you think you could make them with little effort? Were there times in your life when you felt challenged and excited about learning something new? Can you recall that time? Children have this, don't they? Can you feel again what that excitement felt like? Is there a similar challenge now that you might engage in? So one way to cultivate a growth mindset is to find something new, to get involved in some activity, especially something you think you're not that good at it. And don't have expectations of being brilliant and being, mastering it. Just say, I'm going to get better at this. It's something that's fun. It's something you've avoided because you think you're not good at it. Committing and holding yourself accountable is really critical for any human behavior change. We know this, right? I'm going to go to the gym, quit smoking, I'm going to go on a diet, whatever the case may be. And what happens a few weeks later, we wake up one morning and go, oh yeah, I was going to do that. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to do this very, very intentionally. How do we hold ourselves accountable? What do? What are some ideas?
Accountability partner.
Accountability partner, that's great. Research tells us if we make a to-do list, and I would argue write it rather than type it, but I'm old school. If you make a to-do list, your odds of getting those things done just went up. If you show your to-do list to someone, hey, look, here's my to-do list, your odds just went up even more. And then having an accountability partner is great. What's another idea? A way we can hold ourselves accountable for any kind of change.
Reward yourself.
Reward yourself. Yeah, good. We're rewiring the brain. That self-talk is helpful. I want to propose one really interesting way that I've worked with a lot of people on, and it's a scorecard. And this works in so many cool ways. One, we're all so busy, right? People say, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. This practice will take you about 30 seconds a day. I think we have that much time. What you do is you identify the behavior changes that you want to make. This is too many, by the way. I would recommend 3 or 4 at a time. What do you want to change? Well, do you want to operate from more of a growth mindset? Do you want to be mindful of your fixed mindset tendencies? Do you want to challenge yourself to learn something new, set clear goals, etc.? Be fully engaged, be grateful for what I have. Whatever it is. Before your head hits the pillow every night, give yourself a score. Right? Fill it out. And I like a 1 to 10 scale. I have client who has a one to 100 scale because he likes lots of gradation. But 1 to 5, I don't think that's enough, but at least 1 to 10, give yourself a score. So what's the value in this? How does it keep you accountable by just giving yourself a score?
Give yourself feedback, basically.
You're giving yourself feedback, it makes you more self-aware. So a couple things. One, as I said, when we write it down, it increases or programming the brain, right? So every night when I write down a number, that's telling my brain something. You also have data now. When you start filling this out, you can see trends. You can say, wow, I suck on Tuesdays. I thought it was Mondays. I had no idea. Now I can make a little extra effort on Tuesday morning because I know. Also, I can see improvement in numbers and kind of reward myself that way. Also, I can show this to someone and say, here's my accountability chart. Look how I'm doing. And again, you don't even have to discuss it with them. Just showing it to someone helps. But here's the main reason I think this works. I would argue, let's pick one of these. Let's say, avoid angry or destructive comments about others. I've had those clients who say, help me. It's out there before I even realize it. I would argue that after you've done this for a week or so, unconsciously, you don't want to give yourself a bad score that night. So you're about to make that comment, your brain goes, don't do it. You'll have to give yourself a crappy score tonight. And that sounds ludicrous, but it's true. Our brains really react positively to those little nudges. There's a lot of really good research out there about how we respond to just those little nudges, sticky notes and things like that. So you might try this. You choose what it is you want to, how you want to cultivate a growth mindset in particular, or whatever behavior change you want, and try a scorecard like this. I'm almost out of time, but I do have some time for questions and some, maybe if you don't have any, I can throw some more stuff at you. Yes.
Thinking about how they're with being fully present.
Everyone get that question? How do you balance being fully present with basically reflection?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there was an old Zen story where a Zen student saw his master drinking tea and reading the newspaper. And he said, Master, I thought you said when we're doing any activity, just do that activity. He said, yeah, I'm just drinking tea and reading the newspaper. I'm present for that. So be present for your reflection. Being present doesn't mean I don't ever reflect. But being present means I'm aware of what I'm doing right. I'm here in this moment. But what activity am I doing in this moment? I'm reflecting about the past, or I'm planning the future. Being present doesn't mean we can't plan for the future, but we're present while doing it. And then also cultivate that practice where you let all that go. It's reflection. A lot of people confuse meditation with reflection. I'm supposed to be sitting there thinking. No, really, you're not, actually. By the way, a quick aside about meditation. Also, please don't make the mistake of saying, oh, I tried meditation, I can't do it because I keep thinking. Yes, you're human. But what do you do with those thoughts? Do you get lost in them? Or do you notice them and let them go? Notice them and let them go. Notice them and let them go. Oh, it's frustrating. I have a thought every 3 seconds. Exactly. And that's it. You're doing it. You're training your brain to notice. Let go. Notice, let go. Notice, that's the training. Yes. In the workplace. Well, sessions like this. Model it yourself. And I would say have really honest performance reviews. Most performance reviews are just, in my life, it's been kind of a waste of time. But start being honest with people. You know, inspire them to, and my time's about up, inspire them to identify their goals and help them, you know, cultivate that. But I think a lot of it, especially as a leader, leaders really do set the tone. And really do create the culture in a big way. So I think a lot of that's up to you as a leader. Probably have time for one more question. Yes,
How do you train yourself to let go when you're meditating? How do you train your brain to let go of those thoughts?
well, meditation's really hard. And that's another thing that people get discouraged easily. Oh, I tried, I can't do it. It's a skill, and our brains are really programmed to want to be thinking. And I'm here. It's like we're all ADD, right? Persistence. You know, and don't get discouraged. And even if you feel like I didn't have a very successful meditation session, you probably feel a little more relaxed. So at least you got something out of it. But it's just, you've got to understand what it is. I think a lot of people sit there, they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. You've got to understand what it is you're doing. And it is a series of letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go of that feeling, letting go of that thought, letting go of that criticism, letting go of whatever it may be, letting go of that mindset. So it's just persistence, really. Hey, folks, thank you so much. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. I am easily found. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you.